Alright, this is an episode of Will It Run? So it's a 2010 F-150. I'm trying to get the best angle here. F-150 4x4, 5.4 liter engine. It has 180 something thousand kilometers on it. I'm having a rough start, so it'll crank for extended cranks and then it'll fire. Once it fires, it runs absolutely beautiful for the rest of the day. It is the morning time, around 9 a.m. The truck's obviously sat overnight. Alright, so I'm going to just put the key in the ignition and I'm going to turn it to the on position, not start it, but I'm just going to turn it forward to prime the fuel pump. Here we go. I'm going to do that 3 times prior to putting it in run. One, 2, 3. So there's no reason why that shouldn't be primed. There we go. Here we go. Had a hard start. Idles are a little high. That seemed to have helped a little bit. You heard it skipping. Now the idles are dropping. I'll give it a shot of gas with the foot. Good throttle response. It's cold, so it's idling a little bit high, and then once it warms up, it'll drop down to 500 RPM, which is actually pretty reasonable. I think that's normal. That is normal. And that's it. This is the fun I'm experiencing. So what I've done already to it is I've changed the fuel control module on the back frame rail above the spare tire. That's the first thing I've hit. I guess the next thing I'm going to change is the purge valve, the fuel purge valve, vent valve. And then there's also another part. The fuel purge valve apparently is underneath the hood behind the engine by the firewall. And then there's also this thing called an FPRS, I think it's called, a fuel pressure regulator sensor. I will change that as well. So I got those 2 things are on the list. I've changed the spark plugs already. Now this is where I'm kind of stuck. I changed the spark plugs to OEM Motorcraft. I put anti-seize on them. I put a liberal amount of anti-seize. And it seemed to have done this after I changed the plugs. But I think it was doing a little bit before the sputtering, but not as much. And I think that it's just a matter of coincidence that I happen to change it in the time frame of when this whole thing started. It's just getting worse now. So, because it idles and runs perfectly all day. It's just that startup in the morning. So, my thought about the spark plugs was because I put too much anti-seize, or I put a liberal amount of anti-seize on. I was wondering that if it was heating up and then dripping down onto the electrode, causing misfiring. But I don't believe so, because it wouldn't run fine all day like this. And any time of the day I start after the morning, it starts and runs and idles, no issues at all. So we've ruled out the fuel control module on the back. The next plan is to hit it with the here's the possibilities in my head. What I'm thinking, it's either like the pressure regulator sensor, the evap return valve, vent valve, possible injectors, because if they're leaking down at nighttime, they're not holding the pressure in the frame rail. That's a possibility. I don't think it's the ignition coils, because if it was the ignition coils, they wouldn't run good all day. So I'm kind of ruling those out. So the only other possibilities I think in my brain are the fuel injectors, or a coolant temp sensor, this fuel pressure regulator sensor, or the purge valve canister, or one last thing is the fuel tank pump and sender unit. That's pretty much, I can't think of anything else that would cause this. So anyways, I'm going to pick, oh, and the MAF sensor. I forgot to mention that too. I did pull the MAF sensor out. I sprayed it with brake clean. I know they say you're not supposed to. So I might change the MAF sensor too. But I don't think it's the MAF sensor again, and I'll tell you why, because it seems to work fine all day. No. Backpedal a little bit. Could it be the MAF sensor? Could it have something to do with the temperature? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. But I think it's probably this fuel pressure issue with the vent valve canister, one of those three. So before I take it to the dealer and dump money on a diagnostic fee, which they're going to come back and say we have no idea what it is, we're just going to throw parts at it like you would. I'm going to avoid that fee, and I'm going to learn something here. I'm going to put the parts in myself. A little history on the truck. I already changed the cam phasers, so I'm not intimidated at all. I changed the cam phasers myself, VCT solenoids, chains, guides, tensioners, the hydraulic tensioners, lower cog wheel on the crank. So this won't intimidate me. I'm just more bothered that I can't figure it out. There's no codes. There's absolutely no codes on this truck. So, yeah. I did order a new scanner from Amazon that's coming soon, and it gives you apparently live data on the fuel burn ratio for air, so I'm really looking forward to that. I have a scanner that I paid Canadian Tire, but it doesn't give you that kind of data, so I'm really looking forward to that. And getting through the seal, you can see it's idling perfect. Still a little bit cold. Temperature will drop. If I give it a rev right now, it might drop down now. It takes a little bit in the morning. It's cold. But yeah, that's it. I mean, so we'll try this again tomorrow morning. I'll make another video. We're going to call these videos Will It Start? I think these are probably the most interesting videos I've made. So, yeah. Again, this is a 2010 5.4 3-valve Triton. Some say it's a horrible engine. I actually don't mind it, even though they have some bugs. They're pretty reliable in my opinion. If anybody else has these kind of issues, leave a comment below. Let's talk about it. Let's sort it out one comment at a time. I've also heard of guys having issues with fueling. That's not the case with this truck. I can fulfill it full and I don't have any issues. A lot of guys say they fill their tanks up and then they go to start it and it runs rough. Kind of the same symptoms, but no, I'm not having that at all. I can fill it right to the rim, no issues. Anyways, okay, so hope you enjoyed the video. If you got some input for me, something you've experienced with this, let me know, because I'm shaking my head here. Thanks. Talk to you later.